शिरूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ शिरूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ शिरूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास 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 रघुनाथ हरिहराय नम कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव राधे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे राधे जय 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 राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय निताय चैतन्य चंद्र निताय गौर चंद्र गौर हरि जय निताय चैतन्य चंद्र निताय गौर चंद्र गौर हरि Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya, Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Gaur Premanandi. Jam Nitya Lila Prabhishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Astottara Shata His Divine Grace Shila Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada ki. Iskcon Founder Acharya Shila Prabhupada ki. Iskcon BBT Founder Acharya Shila Prabhupada ki. Jam Nitya Lila Prabhishtam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Astottara Shata His Divine Grace Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki. नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की, श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ, श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ सदगोसाई प्रभु की, प्रेम श्री गौर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, श्री ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की, श्री मायापुर नवदीप धाम की, श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्रपुरी जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा मैया की, यमुना देवी की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी देवी की, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, परम विजयते श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तन की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. So today's class will be given by Rasikendra Prabhu. Those of you that are here and carry a phone in your pockets or your purse, we ask you to please turn your phone in a silent mode. Haribo.
This is going to slide. As long as it's extended, it's going to. So, one of our eternal problems. Apart from birth, death, old age, and disease. Hare Krishna. All of y'all have to be very enthusiastic. When you come to the temple, your mouth shouldn't be shut. You should be chanting Krishna's name, very attentively hearing Krishna's name. So, all of y'all should be very enthusiastic when you come to the temple. Then Krishna will say, hey, these devotees are very enthusiastic. Let me be merciful to them, okay? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari. Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Janavallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Kunja Bihari. Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. So today I thought we'll speak about, who can guess what we are going to speak on today? We are coming towards that. Gita Jayanti is coming, but we want to speak about how we all can be victorious. How many of you all don't want to be victorious? I can ask the questions in two ways. How many of you all want to be victorious? Practically everybody will be raising your hands. But it's better if I ask how many people don't want to be victorious. That way I can eliminate. So, how many of you all don't want to be victorious in life? Victorious means, of course, victorious in every possible way. Especially victorious in conquering birth, death, old age and disease. So how many of you all want to be victorious? Practically everybody, because I don't see anybody raising the questions when I ask the question with a double negative, right? So Krishna talks about this actually in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the famous verse. There's a famous verse from chapter 9. Who knows that verse? How many of you all know that verse? Kaunteya pratijanehi name bhakta pranashyati. Right? So it's a very important verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? So 9:31, right? Am I right to say that? I changed my new glasses, so I'm still getting used to these new glasses. Takes some adjustment period. Just like everything in life has an adjustment period. Right? Even in our spiritual life, it takes some time for us to adjust ourselves. Where's our... Can we get this class? Okay. So Krishna in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, right about the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so the Bhagavad Gita is, how many chapters has got the Bhagavad Gita? 18 chapters, everybody knows. How many verses the Bhagavad Gita has? 700 verses. Okay, very good. You all know your numbers. So right in the middle of the chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita, the chapter is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. Okay? So most confidential knowledge. Why is it most confidential? Most Raja Vidya Raja Guyam. Okay? Raja Vidya, king among knowledge, and the king among most confidential knowledge. Knowledge has to be shared with everybody, so why confidential? Huh? Yeah, something when is confidential, you only tell people who you trust in. But Krishna is speaking this, everybody got access to this. So why is it called most confidential? Because sometimes when you tell this secret, for people it doesn't appear like a secret. Only for the devotees it's a true secret. Okay, sometimes for an uneducated people, you go and talk to them some very confidential, let's say, some very, very high mathematics. You may tell them, let's say you have just proven a very wonderful theorem. Let's say, anybody who's a mathematician here? Okay. The Fermat's last theorem is one of the most difficult problem which was solved, right? Am I right? So if you go and tell somebody, they will not understand it. So for them, what is the confidentiality in this? But if you go and explain this to a highly enlightened mathematical group of mathematicians, it will be like the most confidential thing. Wow, this is so wonderful. This person has proven this theorem. So the most confidential knowledge is for the devotees. Even though the Bhagavad Gita is open to everybody, you have to have a certain adhikar to understand confidentiality. Right? So Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita in many wonderful ways, but he keeps the most secretive, the topmost part in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. He doesn't keep in the beginning, he doesn't keep it in the end. Sometimes there's a saying, we'll save the best for the last. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually keeps the best in the middle. Even though he says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Saranam Raja, in the last chapter he says that, he's concluding it, but how do you surrender? What is the means of surrender? Everything is explained in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. So, the most confidential knowledge is by which you can get very close to Krishna. Normally you tell somebody confidential knowledge when somebody is very close to you. You don't just get somebody off the street and tell them a very confidential matter, do you? You don't. Only when you have gained the trust of somebody over many years who have repeatedly proven themselves, then you will share something very confidential. So Krishna shares the most confidential knowledge in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. So, so in the beginning, he says in the 9.1, in the same chapter we're going to talk about Kaunteya Pratijani. He says, Idam tu te guhyattamam. That means this is the topmost. Guhya means secretive or confidential. Uttamam. Uttamam in Sanskrit means the topmost or above everything else. Pravakshyami Anasuyave. Okay, so Anasuya means, we have one devotee here called Anasuya. Is she here today? Anasuya means you are not envious. Okay. So, only when you are not envious of Krishna, this knowledge becomes revealed to you. Krishna is not going to give you knowledge when you are envious of him. Why? Because then you can misuse that knowledge. It happens many times. When people get some very secretive, let's say a nuclear secret, they sell to another country. They go through a lot of rigor, background check, this, that. The FBI is also closely monitoring them. The CIA is considered monitoring them. The National Security Agency is monitoring them. But somehow they've hidden their real intention and they sell very top secret to another country. Okay? So what to speak of this spiritual secret? Alright, so Krishna, by this secret, you can actually conquer Krishna. You can purchase Krishna by this secret. So Krishna is actually giving that knowledge, even though it's confidential, he's freely stating this, but how would you understand it? You need to become qualified for that. You have to be tested again and again. Then Krishna within the heart will reveal the same knowledge in your heart, even though it's written in the Bhagavad Gita. So it's a very important point we have to think. Is the Bhagavad Gita is not like we chant 700 slokas, we really very good in the Bhagavad Gita. No. We really need to understand the Bhagavad Gita. What Krishna's message is in the Bhagavad Gita. How we should apply this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in our life. Then you can really understand, who are these people who are practicing this Bhagavad Gita? I need to get to know them better so they can teach me how to apply this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita in my life. And when this knowledge is applied to your life, then your life will change for the better. So we just read this verse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence." So what does it mean to be not envious of Krishna? You can say, how can I'm coming to temple every day praying to Krishna, I must not be envious. It's not that. You can be coming to Krishna and praying for things which are competing with Krishna. Krishna, give me power. Krishna, give me strength. Krishna, give me beauty. Krishna, give me all this knowledge where I can conquer everybody. You can pray like that. Actually, you're envious of Krishna when you pray like that. Why? Because Krishna is the source of all power. Krishna is the source of all beauty. Krishna is the source of all strength. Krishna is the source of all wealth. Krishna is the source of all knowledge. Krishna is the source of all renunciation. So these are the opulences of the Lord categorized into 6 different categories by a great Muni called Parashara Muni. So when we come to Krishna, when we pray for this, that means we trying to compete with Krishna. Even though it may not appear like that to us, but actually we are. We want to take the position of Krishna. So what is a prayer for a devotee? Krishna, please bestow on me such devotional service where there's no motive, there's no agenda, there's no selfishness. There's just unadulterated. Such service which will attract you, my Lord. Please bestow on me such benediction that I will develop pure devotional service. to you and to your associates. So this kind of prayer, Krishna becomes very pleased. So therefore, trying to get rid of envy is very, very difficult in this world. When somebody becomes rich, when somebody gets a better position than you, somebody beats you in a race, you become unhappy. Oh, I should have been that person. So that is envy. Why should that person strike the lottery? Why not me? Why that person should be promoted? Why not me? So these are all symptoms of envy. Envy to other living entities also means envy to Krishna. The ultimate envy of Krishna is, Krishna, I want to become you. That is called Nirvishesh, where you want to become God. That kind of philosophy is very dangerous for bhakti. So therefore we don't read those commentaries which talk about you and I are one, me and God are one. This philosophy is called Mayavad. We stay away from that philosophy. So therefore we should associate with those sadhus who don't have envy for Krishna. We should associate with those sadhus who don't have envy for any living entity. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the beginning, it says that this transcendental literature is compiled for the non-envious. Vedavyas says that. Because as long as you got envy, you can never understand Krishna. So Krishna speaks about the first verse, then he says in the same chapter, he says, Shipram bhavati dharmatma sasvaj chantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanehi nama bhakta pranashyati. He says, he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Okay, this is a very important verse. And later on, Sanjaya says, wherever there's Krishna and wherever there's Arjuna, there will always be victory. There will always be victory wherever there's Krishna and his devotees. Not only Arjuna, wherever, if Arjuna is because he's a devotee, he's called by that name, but wherever there's Krishna and his devotees, there can only be victory. Now, you can say, I've seen that devotees have lost court cases. I've seen devotees from rich have become very poor. So where's the victory there? Krishna is not talking about that kind of victory. Krishna is talking about victory where dharma, real dharma is challenged. Krishna and his devotees will always become victorious. Just like the Mahabharata is a famous example, right? Look here, Krishna is driving the chariot for Arjuna. When Arjuna and Duryodhan went to see Krishna, this was coming towards, the battle was coming very close. They tried everything, nothing was working to stop the battle. So finally the battle was going to happen. So Duryodhan and Arjuna independently goes to see Krishna, but happened that when they go to see Krishna, they arrived at the same time. So Arjuna, being a very meek and humble devotee, feeling himself the most unworthy servant of Krishna, he stood by Krishna's feet. So when you approach some great person, you always have to stand, look at their feet first, as a sign of humility. Whereas Duryodhan, being so arrogant, so conceited, he stood by Krishna's head. Krishna was resting. So when Duryodhan thought, well, I'm close to Krishna's head, so when he wakes up, he's going to see me. But when Krishna woke up, he saw his devotee first. This is another quality of Krishna. Krishna always benedicts his devotees first. So Krishna opens his eyes and he sees Arjuna and he says, Duryodhana, what have you all come for? What can I do for you? So Arjuna very humbly said, so since Arjuna was the first person Krishna saw, then Krishna said, I've come to ask you a benediction, Arjuna said. Then Duryodhana thought, oh man, I lost my chance. I should have been the first one. He's going to ask everything from Krishna so he can win the battle. So there was two things. Krishna said, either you can have my army or you can have me. You cannot have both. Arjuna knows that wherever there's Krishna, there's going to be victory. So Arjuna said, I will take you over anything, Krishna. I want you on my side. Then Duryodhana was thinking how foolish this guy is. Look at Krishna's army, how humongous army Krishna has. What can Krishna do for him? This shows Arjuna is not very intelligent. So, okay, I will take your side, Arjuna, and Duryodhana, you can have my army. So Duryodhana walked away very happy. So the battle began and all of you know the rest was history. So now, Krishna was with Arjuna all the time during the battle. And not only with Arjuna, he was driving the chariot. So therefore, he is famous as Partha Sarathi. That means the charioteer of Partha. Who's Partha? Arjuna's another name is Partha. Because he is the son of Pritha, he is known as Partha. So Partha Sarathi. So the charioteer of Partha. This is how Krishna is addressed. He's saying that, we are saying that Krishna has taken a subservient position to his devotee. When we call him Partha Sarathi, means he is menially driving the chariot for Arjuna. Okay? So, here we also see Draupadi getting disrobed. So wherever Krishna was there and wherever adharma is trying to take over, Krishna will stop that adharma. Pavitranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Another promise Krishna makes in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna appears to mitigate the suffering of the devotees. Now, to deliver the devotees. But the devotees are already delivered. So why should Krishna come to deliver the devotees? Another question arises during the questions. Krishna, a devotee by nature is delivered already because of his surrender to Krishna. So Krishna says that when you surrender to me, sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam saranam vaja. So the devotee is already surrendered, but why did Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, paritranaya sadhunam, I come to deliver my devotees. He also says that. Vinashaya cha duskritam, to get rid of the miscreants, to get rid of the demons I come. But the first purpose Krishna comes is not to get rid of the demons, actually to deliver the devotees. How does Krishna deliver the devotees? But the devotees are already delivered. Even without Krishna appearing, the devotees are already delivered because of their surrender to Krishna. The great acharyas have commented that Krishna appears to mitigate the separation the devotees are feeling from him. To deliver them from the separation. Because when somebody is very dear to you, you're feeling so much separation, and that becomes unbearable sometimes. Just like a child raised by the mother and father, so has to leave home for college. When they are 18 years old, they go out of state for college, or they go for some other university in the state. So the mother and father are feeling so much anxiety about the child, thinking about the child day and night, how the child is going to be, is he eating properly, Is he studying properly? Has he got good company? Is he getting into some trouble? So the parents are constantly thinking like that. I'm sure all of you all have thought about like that. For those parents who have children who gone to college, right? When they first leave, there's so much anxiety. So that separation, Krishna appears to say, look, I've come again. You don't have to be so anxiously separated. So that is a symptom of love. So Krishna tells here, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So Krishna, another interesting Krishna things, what does he say? O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Krishna could have said, O son of Kunti, my devotee never perishes. Why did he say, O son of Kunti, declare it boldly? He is telling Arjuna, you go and declare it, Arjuna, boldly, that my devotee shall never perish. Why does he say that? Why does he tell Arjuna to go and declare? Another question comes. This is a very important point in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you go and declare that my devotee shall never perish. So the Acharyas have explained, the Acharyas have studied this very deeply. Now when we read this, we may think, okay, it's nice if I become a devotee, I will not. But the Acharyas, they really scrutinize the word of the Bhagavad Gita. Every single word, every single syllable, and they write an explanation on that. Just like Prabhupada has written this wonderful commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, he has taken the commentary of all the great Acharyas and then compacted them into the Bhagavad Gita. So therefore this Bhagavad Gita, and with Prabhupada's own realization, with the commentaries of the Acharyas, he has come up with the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So therefore this Bhagavad Gita is so powerful. When somebody reads, their life changes very quickly. Because why? The greatest devotees have written their understanding of these verses. They've explained what it means. So here Krishna says, Arjuna, you go and declare boldly that my devotee shall never perish. So this is a very interesting point. Someone may say, you know what, Krishna say he shall not bear any weapon in the Bhagavad Gita, but he took up a weapon to attack Bhishma Dev. Right? You all know that, right? So he broke his promise. Why he broke his promise? Because of the love for his devotees, he broke his promise. So Krishna is so purchased by his devotees, he doesn't even care for his own reputation. He breaks his own promise to protect his devotees. Normally, a Brahmana means one who doesn't break his word. When he says something, he will do it. So that's one of the quality of a Brahmana. He's truthful. But Krishna seemingly broke his own promise. And he took the wheel to attack Bhishma Dev. Why? To protect. Who was he trying to protect? Arjuna. When Arjuna was in a very precarious situation, Bhishma Dev was fighting so valiantly and said, this is not going to help. So Krishna took the wheel. So this is a very wonderful thing Krishna did. You may think, oh, Krishna broke his promise, but Krishna broke his promise for the sake of his devotees. So now, therefore, Krishna says, if I tell my devotee will not perish, people may say, you know what, Krishna has broken his promise before. He may break it again. So therefore he says, Arjuna, you tell it, and because you are my devotee, I will make sure that your word is not broken. So you see how Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, when you read it with the proper understanding, all these wonderful meanings come out of the Bhagavad Gita. Since you are my dearmost devotee Arjuna, if you go and declare it boldly, then under every condition I'm going to make sure that I will make your word true. Just like Narad Muni, right? He cursed the son of Kuvera, Manigruva and Nalakuvera. You, because of your bad behavior, I curse you to fall down to this world, and you will take birth as trees, and you shall be delivered by Krishna. And because Narad Muni said that, Krishna took the Damodar Leela. Krishna appeared as Damodar and performed the Damodar Leela. So therefore, Krishna is bound by the words of his devotees. So therefore, he is definitely going to fulfill this word. So therefore, sometimes we think, you know what? I've got so many competing interests in my life. You know, I still got time. If I neglect this, if I neglect my job, or if I don't put 100% attention in my job, you may think like that. I will lose out on a promotion, I may lose out on a bonus, I must lose out on a raise. So let me put all my energy on that. We may think like that. And Krishna can wait. You know, Krishna is there. If you go to Radha Neelamadhava temple, he's always standing there. But my promotion may not wait for me. You may think like that. My bonus will not wait for me. So therefore, Krishna and Radharani and Giriraj and Gaur-Nitai, they're always there. Whenever I go, I can see them. They're not running anywhere. We may think like that. Now let me focus. I still got time. When I grow old, when I retire, when I don't have any other matters distracting me, I will give full attention to Krishna. We may think like that. That's a very bad strategy. That is not a very intelligent strategy. So we think by giving time to Krishna, we are losing. Indirectly we're telling Krishna, Krishna, if I give you this time, I'm going to be the loser. By your actions you are telling that. You're not saying that, but by your actions you are saying that. Just like the gopis, what they did, when Krishna wanted to perform the Rasa Leela, they left everything and they ran towards Krishna. No consideration. Here also we can see when Draupadi was being disrobed, what was happening? She was trying to hold on to her sari, trying so much, but Dushashan with his strength he was pulling. Then it came to her understanding that if I hold on to anything else other than Govinda, you know, my problems are not going to be solved. So she even stopped resisting Dushashan and raised the arms and called Govinda. And when she did that, Krishna immediately saved her from disgrace, from being disrobed. So sometimes we think by giving to Krishna we are the loser. But by giving to Krishna you are the 100% winner, 1000% winner. Infinitely you are the winner. So we should understand this. Somehow in our life we should somehow give priority to Krishna. Morning when you wake up, the first thing your tongue should say Krishna's name. When you wake up, you can say Hare Krishna. Very simple, right? Very easy when you wake up. Or when you wake up, the first thing you should have a picture. When you look, you should look at Krishna. You should look at Radha Krishna. Or you should look at the lotus feet of Krishna. So you should mold your life in such a way that somehow the priority in your life becomes Krishna, every other thing are kind of superfluous to the main priority of Krishna. Oh, I have a job, I'm doing that for Krishna. So with the fruits of my job, I can serve Krishna. Oh, I have a family I have to maintain because they are devotees. So therefore, my job is also meant for the pleasure of Krishna. So I will do my job very dutifully for the pleasure of Krishna. Just like Arjuna, he was giving so many excuses not to fight the battle. Amazing excuses he gave. Krishna, if I kill all these people, they're going to be dead, all their wives going to be widowed, the men will exploit these widows. We can see in society it happening, right? When a woman is single, men naturally going to exploit them. Prabhupada says that the women's liberation movement was started by the men. So the ladies can come out of their homes. While they are inside their homes, the men cannot exploit the women. But once they step out of their home, then the women can be exploited. So Prabhupada said actually the women's liberation movement, the real people pushing it were the men. So women can come out of their homes, then the men can exploit the women, can enjoy the women. So Arjuna give the same excuse. Krishna, if all these warriors are killed, all these kings, there won't be any men to protect them, and there would be bad progeny from these women. Society will become so horrible. He was giving so many excuses. Arjuna, he was trying to slither out of the battle. But when Krishna says, Arjuna, even though you are speaking like a learned person, you are a great fool. Krishna put him in his spot. So whatever Krishna wants us to do, that is dharma. Even though the contrary may look very wonderful and very non-violent and very dharmic, whatever Krishna wants us to do, that is dharma. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma comes from Krishna. Nobody else can originate any dharma. Any other dharma is called kaitava dharma, cheating religion. So therefore, real dharma can only come from Krishna. And if Krishna wants you to do something, that is dharma. Okay? So, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So Krishna has made the promise through his devotee. So none of us here should have any doubt. None of us here should have any doubt that by serving Krishna, by giving my time to Krishna, by giving my energy to Krishna, I will somehow be the loser. Look at my colleague at work. He's working so hard, he's making so much money. Oh, if I give my time to Krishna, I may lose out on the competition. Therefore, I'm going to be the loser. No. Krishna knows all of your needs. Whatever is going to happen is already dictated by Krishna. We can see this now, right? The famous example now all over the paper about Twitter. You all know, many of you all got Twitter account, right? When Elon Musk took over, he thinks it's going to do some big wonders. But Krishna already knows what's going to happen. It was a total chaos after he took. All the advertisers ran away from the platform. Now he's begging to the advertisers, please come back. He's the richest man in the world. He's begging to the advertisers, please come back to Twitter. And then another big company, FTX, just overnight went down. So nothing in this world is certain. You may have $1 billion today in your bank account, tomorrow may be zero. But if you have $1 billion devotional credits in your account, that can never be wiped out. Because that credit is given at Krishna's lotus feet, nobody can snatch it away. Even the IRS cannot come and get it. So let us have at least that kind of faith that by giving to Krishna, I'm only much better off. So therefore when you come to the temple, Don't ask Krishna for anything mundane, anything material. Krishna knows all of your needs. You think the birds and the bees and the elephant and the whales are praying to Krishna for their maintenance? You think they are praying every day? No, Krishna is providing them. Do you see the birds flying out of the sky and dropping down dead because of hunger? We don't see that. You think the elephants, they die because of hunger? There's food. Krishna provides. Krishna seated in everybody's heart. He knows everybody's need. Even though you may try so hard, you may not even be able to make $1 if Krishna doesn't sanction it. So Krishna knows all of your needs. You don't have to be so preoccupied thinking that Krishna is not very attentive to my needs. Therefore, let me try with my own effort. Even your effort is given by Krishna. Even the energy is given by Krishna. Even your intelligence is given by Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna. So let us have that level of faith by facing Krishna and turning my life away from Maya and facing Krishna and giving to Krishna and surrendering to Krishna. It's all going to be for my ultimate good. It's going to be Shreyas. We are running after prayas. Prayas means immediate gain. But immediate